Mr. Elsie.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, General. It's good to be here. We've not met before, but as soon as I shook your hand, I understand that you have some pretty thick skin because you get run through the ringer up here, and I appreciate your time and in coming up here. I'll get right to it. Are you familiar with the term? Now, Congressman Garcia, Congressman Gonzalez, and I are all in naval aviation in our previous careers. Have you ever heard the terms alligator's closest canoe?
Yeah, I think I've heard it, the nearest bear to the door, but
That's it?
pretty
All
much
right.
the same, I think.
And have you heard the term stump the chump?
No, afraid of not.
Okay.
Not.
That means when you ask a question that you're not going to get the right answer on or something like it's something to put somebody on the spot. I promise you I'm not going to play that game with you today.
It.
But we are going to talk about the alligator closest canoe. I'm from Texas 6, which is just south of Dallas. I have a 9-county district, which has gotten pretty big, largely rural, not a whole lot of money in the district. And as I look at the budget requests for some of these programs, and I understand you have a very large department. You have a lot of folks working for you, and I know you didn't write this budget request yourself. And then you have to be under the microscope to answer for it. So I'm going to ask you a couple hard questions, namely about the SCAP program, which helps offset the cost of local law enforcement for holding within their jails illegal aliens who are criminals, either have been convicted of a felony or 2 misdemeanors. And previous to that, we had $234 million allocated to that program. That program's been cut. And I'm curious to know if there's an alligator closest canoe, which is, again, I said I'm not going to play stump the chump. We have a illegal immigration problem. We have a drug problem coming from the border. We have a human trafficking problem coming from the border. I think we can agree with that. So I asked my local sheriffs how much it costs them to hold some of these folks. So I've got 9 counties, but I talked to Sheriff Elmer Tanner of Navarre County, Brad Norman of Ellis County, my home county, Bill Wayburn of Tarrant County. We're still waiting on some of those numbers. There's 254 counties in Texas, and I would argue that Texas is bearing the brunt of what's going on the border. So I heard back from Elmer in Navarre County. He has held 28 of these criminals for a total of 2,067 days. At $69 a day, that's $142,000 cost to Navarre County and the taxpayers of Tarrant County. There's only 52,000 people there. That's real money for counties like mine in my district, like mine. So my question is, if we're going to do away with $234 million program under the justification of more emergent problems like new grant problems like the Accelerating Justice System Reform, which is $300 million discretionary over 10 years, incentivize jurisdictions in undertaking the critical work of addressing the entrenched issues of inequity and disparity. That's not the alligator closest canoe. Who on earth decided to cut that entire program that's going to offset my sheriffs from having to house illegal immigrant criminals for that program? And that's just one of many, but I don't have that much time to go over all of it. So I'd like to see why you can justify cutting that money, justify the request for the other money, and would you be willing to reinstate the SCAP program?
So I think you correctly analyzed my problem here, which is my microscope was not focused on SCAP. And I don't know the answer to your question, but I'd be happy to look at it again, or for myself for the first time, and have our staff talk to yours about the SCAP program and whether there was an alternative source of funding or some other arrangement was made. I just honestly don't know, and my experience before this and other committees is it's best if I say I don't know when I don't know.
Well, that is an acceptable answer. We learned that at the Naval Academy too. That is a perfectly acceptable one. I'd love it for you to look into it because it's important to a district like mine that's not made of money, and we're doing the federal government's job. We do have a problem on the border, and my sheriffs in my district are saying, where's the money coming from? And we've just cut all of it. And they were already only getting 31 cents on the dollar to house these illegal immigrant criminals. And that affects my district very, very harshly. So my time's expired. I yield back. Thank you very much for the answer.
Gentlemen, you.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure to hit that subscribe button
Turn on your notifications so every time I put out a video, you can know about it. It'll come up in your feed. Hit that like button if you liked it, and be positive. Peace.